open Carbide Create. Today we're doing a personalized cutting board. So we're going to go up here to this little gear where we're going to set up our material. We're going to click on that. Our cutting board is 20 5/8 wide, so that's going to be 20.625, and it is 13 1/2. So we'll put 13.5. It's 1 1/8 thick, so we're going to do 1.125. It's hardwood, of course. Everything else looks good. We're gonna zero in the lower left. So there's our cutting board. Now we're gonna start the text to personalize it. For these personalized cutting boards that I've been doing, this monotype Corsiva seems to be a very popular font. So that's what we're going to pick. We're going to do a capital R, and we're going to do it about 2 inches tall for right now. Well, we can make it taller than that. So we'll go up to 4, see what that looks like. Alright, we'll just leave this alone for right now, and we'll do some of our other text. We're just going to play around with the different sizes and alignments until we get it looking good. Whenever we have it about where we like it, we can just select it and go over here to this align tool. And we don't want to align it up and down, we only want to align it left and right. So we'll click on that and it put it in the center. We're just going to keep it away. We're going to round these edges over later. So you want to make sure you keep it away from the edge. I think that looks pretty good right there. So once you have the design laid out where you want it and everything, it's time to start making the tool paths. So this R will probably be able to use a 1/4 inch end mill to save some time. So we'll select the 1/4 inch end mill. This screen recorder that I'm using is not going to capture these pop-up windows. I kind of like that feature though, because whenever I'm opening folders and things of that nature, I've got some customer names and stuff that I don't want to disclose to everybody on YouTube. So that's one of the reasons you're probably not going to be able to watch this right now. When you get into Carbide Create, you're going to hit the change tool in the toolpath. We picked contour, and then you'll hit change tool and it'll bring this pop-up up that you won't be able to see right now. But we're just going to pick hardwood, end mills. We're going to do the 201 1/4 inch. Hit OK. We're going to go 1/4 inch deep, and it's going to be a pocket. And we're going to hit OK right there. And then we're going to come down here and select pine and hit show simulation just to see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. So now we'll hide simulation. We've got Toolpath 1 created. I'm going to go back in here since it looks good, and I'm just going to type, I'm just going to put R in there. And then we're going to select the Robinsons. Now we're going to go back to contour. This is going to have to be an 1/8 inch end mill. So we'll go back to the hardwood selection, end mills, the number 102, 1/8 inch, and we're still going to do 1/4 inch. This is going to look a lot better as a pocket. So we're going to do this as a pocket as well. We're going to type the Robinsons in there. And we're going to hit show simulation. And that does not look good at all. So we'll hit hide simulation. The 1/8 inch is too big to get into some of these places for a pocket. So rather than changing to a smaller bit and making this take longer, let's see what it looks like when we cut on the outside of the line. We'll try that. We'll hit show simulation there. And that looks much better. So that's probably the route we're going to go. It also takes less time. So now we will hide simulation. Now we'll select this, and we'll do it the same way as we did the Robinsons. Cut on the outside. We've still got our 1/8 inch in there, and we're cutting it 1/4 of an inch deep. And we're hit show simulation. We're going to have to make that font just a little bit bigger in order to get that to look good with an 1/8 inch end mill. So we're going to come back down here, hide simulation, go back to design, select this. We're probably going to have to go up to at least 1 3/4 inches. Whenever you change that, you'll have to realign it. I like the Robinsons to be bigger than that, so we're gonna increase the size of the Robinsons by the same amount, just to keep our design the same. Make sure we realign that. We're gonna pull this down just a smidge and realign it. Now we're gonna go back to the Toolpath, show simulation, and that looks a lot better. So that's what we'll keep that design right there. That actually looks pretty good right there. Now it's ready to save the toolpaths. All right, so when we're saving the toolpaths, we're going to disable 2 of the 3. I'm going to hit save G code. I'm just going to save this onto the desktop like I mentioned earlier. You're not going to be able to see this part because my file folders will not record on this. And that's it. Now we're ready to move over to carbide motion where we're going to cut this thing out. Now we're going to get our touch probe ready. On the lower left corner where we told it we were going to initialize or zero the machine. Get our alligator clip on there. And we'll just hit these arrow keys until we get it over that circle. Pretty close. Our alligator clip is hooked up. We have the 1/4 inch end mill already in there, so we're going to go over to probe. We're going to probe the entire corner. We've got the 201 in. Everything looks good, so we're going to hit begin probing. And our alligator clip popped off. You don't want that to happen. Now that we had a successful probe, we're going to go back over to run. We're going to grab the file. Now our file is loaded up and ready to go. We're ready to hit start job. If you're using dust collection, make sure you get that hooked up. We're going to go ahead and turn our router on, and then we will turn our dust collection on. We will hit start job, and then we'll see you back in 14 minutes. Okay, so after we have successfully cut the design into the front of the cutting board for the epoxy inlay, what we're going to do next is we're going to keep the dimensions of this material. We're just going to highlight all of this stuff, and we are going to delete it all. We're going to delete these tool paths, just get rid of everything that was on the material. We're going to go back to the design. We're going to make some rectangle vectors. We're going to do 4.5 by 1 and just line up this outside edge with the outside edge of the material. We're going to do one on each side. Sometimes it's easier just to type it in right there. 4.5 inches by 1 inch, and then we will align it vertically just like that. Now we're going to go over to Toolpath. We're going to select both of those rectangles we just made, contour, open up the hardwood tab, and we're going to select the 201 end mill. We are going to go 1/2 inch deep, and we are going to do it on the outside. We're going to do a pocket. We're going to do the outside right as well. No, we're going to do it right on the line. Yes, right on the line. At 1/2 inch deep as well. We're going to actually save this as one tool path. So it'll do all of this all at the same time. We've taken our material and we flipped it over to the back. So now we just have to save this.